Imagine walking into an old barn, garage, or warehouse, and instead of dust and broken tools, you find a forgotten treasure worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Today, we're diving into the top 5 barn find stories that stunned the automotive world. Let's get into it. 1. Jaguar E-Type frozen in time. Our first story begins with one of the most admired sports cars ever built, the Jaguar E-Type. Enzo Ferrari himself once called it the most beautiful car in the world. But this particular E-Type didn't live a glamorous life. In the early 1970s, the owner parked the car after a mechanical failure. Nothing major, just something that needed attention. But instead of fixing it, the owner simply covered it and walked away, planning to deal with it later. Later turned into over 40 years. When the car was finally rediscovered, it was almost unreal. Thick dust, flat tires, faded paint, but everything was original. The interior still had its factory leather. The engine had never been swapped. Even small details like badges and trim were untouched. It was like a perfectly preserved time capsule. Collectors love originality more than perfection, and this car was the ultimate survivor. Even in non-running condition, it sparked a bidding war. The discovery reminded everyone that some cars aren't just machines, they're history frozen in place, a sleeping legend waiting to breathe again. 2. Porsche 911 air-cooled, Hoard the Secret Empire. Our second barn find is something completely different, not one car, but more than 100 hidden vehicles, including multiple air-cooled Porsche 911s. For decades, a private collector quietly purchased classics and stored them inside warehouses and barns, with almost no one knowing the full scale of his collection. When the collection was finally uncovered, it felt like stepping into a secret museum. Rows of Porsche 911's early short wheelbase models, rare trims, untouched originals, even some with factory options that collectors never see anymore. Some cars were dusty but complete. Others were in incredible condition, like they had been stored away brand new. The discovery shocked enthusiasts around the world because air-cooled 911s had already skyrocketed in value. And here was an entire hidden fleet left in silence, untouched by trends, untouched by restorers, untouched by time. Each car had potential, each car had value, and each car had a story. Soon after the discovery, restoration shops and auction houses raced to inspect the vehicles. Many went on to sell for impressive sums. The Hoard proved that somewhere out there, hidden collections still exist, and sometimes the biggest treasure isn't a single car, but an entire forgotten empire. 3. Porsche 911S 1967, 47 years underground. Our third story focuses on a single car, but an incredibly rare one. A Porsche 911S from 1967, one of the most desirable early 911 models ever made. The car was purchased in the late 1960s, driven for only a few years, and then parked in a domestic garage. The owner planned to get back to it someday, but life got in the way. The garage door closed, and it stayed closed for 47 years. When rediscovered, the car was almost eerie. Dust covered every inch. Rust had started creeping along the metalwork. The tires were flat. But under all that decay was something priceless, a matching numbers 911S, the original engine, the original gearbox, the untouched interior. In the collector world, originality is king, and this car was royalty. Even though it needed a full restoration, enthusiasts recognized its importance. Early 911S models are lightweight, pure, and incredibly rare. Cars like this don't just represent performance, they represent the birth of a legend. When the garage finally opened, it wasn't just a forgotten machine being revealed. It was a moment in time being brought back into the light, proof that even a neglected classic can return as a treasure. 4. Ferrari Baillon Collection, The Lost Kingdom. Now we travel to France, where one of the most unbelievable discoveries in automotive history took place, the Baillon Collection. Hidden behind old gates and crumbling buildings were 59 forgotten classic cars, silently collecting dust for decades. The original owner, Roger Baillon, had dreamed of creating a public car museum. He acquired rare European masterpieces through the 1950s and 1960s, but financial trouble stopped his dream. The cars were left behind. Barns collapsed. Weather slowly took over. Trees grew around some vehicles. Others sat covered by broken roofs. For years, no one knew what was inside until the collection was rediscovered. When experts entered the barns, they were stunned. Rare Maseratis, Talbot Lagos, Bugattis, and, of course, multiple Ferraris. Even in rough condition, the lineup was breathtaking. It wasn't just a barn find, it was an archaeological discovery, a frozen kingdom of automotive royalty. The story became global news. The cars were carefully transported, documented, and eventually auctioned. Some were restored, some were preserved exactly as found, a tribute to a forgotten dream. The Baillon collection proved that history can vanish, but sometimes it can also reappear in the most unexpected places. 5. Ferrari 250 GT Short Wheelbase California Spider, the crown jewel. Our final story is the single most valuable barn find in this lineup, the legendary Ferrari 250 GT Short Wheelbase California Spider, hidden inside the Baillon barns. This car wasn't just rare, it was mythical. Only a handful were ever built, and collectors considered it one of the most desirable Ferraris on Earth. For decades, nobody even knew this specific car still existed. It sat quietly under dust and debris, its sleek curves barely visible. The paint was faded, the chrome was dull, but underneath the neglect was something breathtaking, a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. When experts unveiled the car, the automotive world was stunned. The California Spider wasn't just valuable, it was historic. It represented a golden era of Ferrari design, racing DNA, and hand-built craftsmanship. When it finally went to auction, the bidding was explosive. The car sold for an astonishing multi-million-dollar price, making it one of the most valuable barn find sales ever recorded. A forgotten relic transformed into a global headline. This story wasn't just about money, it was about rediscovery. About the idea that somewhere out there, hidden under dust, history might still be waiting. These stories prove one thing: some of the world's greatest automotive treasures aren't in museums or showrooms. They're hiding in barns, garages, and warehouses, waiting to be discovered. So here's the question. Which barn find story shocked you the most, and which legendary car do you think might still be out there, hidden and forgotten? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share it with a fellow car enthusiast. Who knows, maybe the next big barn find is just around the corner.